We are live. T1 Trucking, what up? Make sure everybody can hear me on the other end. We got 3 people in the building right now, man. If you guys hear me, okay, just hit that thumbs up button for me. Also, make sure you guys hit that like button as you come in. We got 3 people in the building. I just like to get that mic check first. Let me get in here. Hey, what up, T1? Okay, yeah, I'm good. Oh, y'all piling in. We got 10. We got 10 people in the building.
Woo.
Appreciate you guys for checking in, man. We're gonna get to it in just a minute. I'm gonna shout a few of you guys out. Let me know where you checking in from before we get started here. Let me know where you checking in from. I know we got T1 Trucking in the building. I can't remember what T1 from, man. By the way, I heard what you said about your RL videos, RL carriers. Uh, this is someone who was in food service originally, but now he's left the food service game and is doing P&D right now for R&L carriers, man. So, last video I seen him talk about how, it was a little difficult for him to create content now working for that particular company. So I know, certain companies have their own policies as it relates to creating content and recording and all that type of stuff. So hopefully, you can still figure out a way to create some content, maybe not at work, but maybe, in the car or at your house or something like that, man. You got a good channel, by the way, man. Just keep it going. So Springfield, okay.
Illinois?
Missouri.
Oh, Missouri. Okay.
Yeah, Springfield. All right, we got 6 people in the building. Appreciate you guys for checking in. All right, guys, we're not gonna hold up too much of my guys' time today. We're gonna go ahead and get into it. I get to you guys' comments periodically. Like I said, we got T1. Shout out to T1. If you guys got a comment, just drop it. And like I said, if you got a question or anything like that as we go on throughout this live stream, just drop it in the chat and we'll get to them. All right, man. So today I got a very special guest, somebody that's actually not a stranger to the channel. He's been on before. It's been a little over a year now since we first made a video together, man. But this is my guy. And the channel has grown since he's been on. So it's a lot of people that will be seeing him for the first time. Some of you guys have probably seen him before. So we're gonna get into it, man, and kind of get everybody up to speed and kind of hear about some of the things that he got going on right now. We're going to be getting into trucking and also a special project that he got going on, man. So listen, without further ado, man, we're going to go ahead and get to it. I'm going to let him introduce himself, man. So without further ado, take it away, my brother.
All right. First and foremost, you always have to give your roses out to I'm Anthony TV. Last time I was on this channel, this man had like 5,000 subscribers. I'm like, now he got 13. All I gotta say is I'm happy for him. I remember I started Steer Mike the podcast, and we were like around the same, and this man just grew. But if you don't know who I am, my name is Champion Trucker. Artist name is Hotcher. We'll talk about that later. I've been trucking for about 2 years now. I've been in food service. I've been in OTR. I am now in semi-local. So kind of the companies that I could talk about is PFG, Cisco, McLean, Schneider, and then on top of that, JB Hunt. So quite a long resume. I'm not proud of that, but that's what I know.
There you go, man. So my guys done been in a few different industries, man. A few different, companies out there. So, quite a bit of experience that you can speak to. So I guess, man, let's go ahead and start with how you got started in trucking, man. We're gonna talk a little bit about that briefly, and then get
Mhm.
into some of the other, areas in trucking that you were in. But just talk about kind of how you got started. I think your first company was with Schneider, if I'm not mistaken, man. So just kind of talk
Yeah.
about that process, man, leading up to where you are now.
Yeah, most definitely. So pretty much my daughter was born, and we had a unfortunate news that she had a blood disease, a rare one. At that time, I was struggling to pay bills. I was struggling to make ends meet, even trying to pay for daycare, which was difficult. My friend came to me and said, "Hey, get your CDLs, man." He's been my long-standing friend, and I was looking at multiple kind of companies to go to, Maverick, at that time Prime, but one that was local to me in Indianapolis was Schneider. I went with them. And pretty much from there, I had learned that the trucking industry can be a brutal place. But I documented all of my trainings and stuff like that. And fast forward, I left that company, went to multiple different companies. Where I'm at now is JB Hunt. I've been there over a year and a half. Within the 2 years I've been in the trucking industry. But one thing that I learned was a lot of my training videos that I was helping other people in Schneider learn from came some really successful YouTubers that are no longer on the scene, like Bobby Reach. He said that he was kind of like watching my videos before he created his Tiki trucking. Both of them great channels that blew up significantly. Unfortunately, they don't upload anymore, but it really inspired me to create the channel and why I created Champion Trucker.
Nice, man. Got you. Yeah, you just mentioned, one guy name in particular, man, Bobby Reach, man. Shout out to Bobby Reach.
Yeah,
Bobby Reach, I was a fan, man. You know
I
what I'm
was
saying? He
too.
created some good content. He had the
He did.
personality, he had the charisma, and
Hmm.
he had a good head on his shoulder, man.
Hmm.
And I think if he would have kept going, he had a lot of momentum. I think
Hmm.
he really could have been. I mean, he probably could have blew up like crazy right now.
Six
I,
figure
yeah,
subscribers.
yeah, definitely for sure. I remember when I first came across his content, man. I think he had like a few hundred subs, and
Hmm.
I posted his video on my community tab,
Mm.
and I think like a month or 2 after that, not saying that
Mm.
my channel was the reason why he blew up. I mean, he blew up because of the person he was and just how he created content. But I just remember the subscribers that he had at that time compared to like a month or 2 later, his subs was like growing by the thousands.
Hmm. Hmm.
It felt like daily, man. It
I
was
was like,
crazy. And I'm
what?
like, man, shout out to Bobby Reach, man. And then, it also helped catapult his channel when you have all these other content creators talking about him, putting his name in the title of their videos and
Hmm.
all that type of stuff. So that definitely helped him out too. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? So, but yeah, man, shout out to him, man. But
Shout
yeah,
out.
so um, and I think, well, I want to ask you this question because I
Mm.
I get asked this a lot on the channel. You've been OTR, you've been
Yeah.
local.
Yeah.
What's your take? What's your thoughts on new drivers coming in wanting to come local? Do you think that new drivers should go the OTR route, or do you think it doesn't matter? They can go the local route. In terms of driving experience, which
Hmm.
one do you feel would be better suited for a new CDL driver coming in your personal opinion, since you have done both?
Yeah. So I'm gonna give you an analogy when it comes to like the music industry. Nipsey Hussle made a bunch of mixtapes. 50 Cent said you should have made an album. Why? Because I have to, when you go up to companies, you want leverage. But you want to be able to show the numbers of sold albums because you don't know how many mixtapes really could sell. It's free,
Mhm,
right?
mhm,
So I really take that knowledge when it comes to trucking. when you get into trucking, you do not want to go local. You can, but the thing is that you're going to hurt yourself, because what happens if you don't want to go local anymore and you have a year experience? What you're going to be doing is you're going to take that local experience and diminish it to go to like OTR or something like that. You're not going to get the top pay regardless of how much experience you have. Now it's the opposite. When you go OTR, you have a year experience with OTR going to different states. Not only are your skills better, you have proven that you can go the long haul, and that being local is just child's play, which it's not. It's really not, because you have to back into difficult situations. You have to watch out for more cars. But companies look at that. And I actually talked to a company that I wanted to go to. And at the time they said, do you have 6 months of OTR experience? They didn't say, do I have 6 months of trucking experience? They said 6 months of OTR experience. At that time, I did not. I went semi-local, I went local. So it really does hurt you and impact you greatly by the choices you make just starting off. Last thing I'll say is I have a friend who had continuously came to me and asked me, what about this company? What about this company? I do not speak about companies I do not know in depth. I can't say, oh yeah, go to them, because I'm tired of people telling people 100% go to them. And it's like, they don't say do the research. They don't tell you to go in depth. Well, one thing I'm really happy about what Anthony does is he tells you go and look into it further, and so that is the biggest proponent about it. But to summarize it, if you want to sell, improve, and have all the leverage when it comes down to this industry, you have to get in the dirt. Once you get in the dirt, take a shower, then figure out what you want to do.
Yeah, that's a good point, man. And to your point, when it comes to OTR, I'll be honest, man. And I've never done OTR before, but I've heard a lot of OTR drivers speak on this. And just in my humble opinion, I think that going OTR is probably a better route to go in terms of getting better quality training when it comes to driving experience. I feel like if you go OTR, they're going to be a little bit more hands-on with you. You're going to be with somebody for weeks at a time in the truck, a veteran driver. And when you go local, it's not really like that. When you go local, nobody's really teaching you or showing you how to drive the truck, right? They just pretty much put you behind the wheel in training. You drive for, a few days, a week, or whatever the case may be, and then you're out on your own. You know what I mean? Unlike OTR, you're in the truck a longer period of time in most cases, and you get to see a lot on the road. You know what I mean? And that's another thing that I think is very important in terms of driving. So I would say that, OTR is a better route. However, just as well as I do, a lot of people just don't want to live that life when it comes to OTR. It's a totally different lifestyle. It takes a very unique individual to do OTR. And if you have a family, kids, and you really want to be in their lives and things of that nature, that is really the major drawback, in my personal opinion, when it comes to OTR. What do you think, man?
I 100% agree. I'm probably the best example for that. I wanted to I wanted to be home. But the thing is that I knew that I had to go over the road for some sort of period, maybe 3-6 months, in order to get the experience. While I was doing that, which I kind of talk about with my music, is that my ex-wife decided to do things while I was gone. So in result to that, I thought I was, providing for my family. I was able to pay for daycare. I was able to take care of the food and all of that stuff. But that didn't matter because I didn't have a strong household at home when it came down to it. So I can definitely, this is where I flip the coin. I say it is good to get the experience OTR overall. Have a solid foundation at home first. If you have a family, if you're single, go out there. Take your 34-hour reset in Las Vegas, California, Atlanta, all these places. You're single. if you got a family, try to find something local. I highly advise it because you don't want to end up like me.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm real when it comes down to it. You don't got a solid, if you're a woman going out there and being a truck driver, or a man going out there, or a dog, which I never seen before. But if you're a dog and you don't got a solid foundation at home, I would go local. I would go
Yeah.
local. So
Yeah. I mean, that's great. And I think that's awesome advice, man. And that's something that I don't really hear a lot of people talking about, the
mhm.
family dynamic, that family piece. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I really don't hear a lot of people talking about that, a lot of OTR guys. Um, because I mean, let's be honest, a lot of women, because you have some OTR companies that will allow partners in the truck and things of that nature. But
Hmm.
a lot of women, especially a lot of women that I know, they're not
Hmm.
sleeping in no truck. I'm sorry. That's
Hmm.
that's not the type of lifestyle that that they're gonna
Nah.
want to live. They're not signing
Nah.
up for that, right?
Mm-mm.
I know there are some out there, but the women that I know that they not signing up for that, man.
Yeah.
So I think a conversation definitely needs to be had for anybody that's in a relationship, man. Like that,
Facts.
before making that decision to want to go OTR, you definitely got to have a conversation with your significant other, your partner, or whatever the case may be, before you make that type of decision, because it's different, man. It's
Hmm.
like it like you just talked about. I mean, it can ruin your relationship potentially,
Yeah.
right? Because you're out there, man, and that's how you make your money. OTR, you got to keep those wheels rolling, and
Yeah.
sometimes you're out there weeks at a time, sometimes maybe even a month at a time. You're only home, on a weekend. Again, we just talked about, having to basically live out of your truck and things of
Hmm.
that nature. And so, some people like it, some people don't. It's just one of those things where, like you just talked about a few minutes ago, it's all about doing your due diligence, doing your research, and making sure you understand what you're getting yourselves into before you pull the trigger and say, okay, I think I want to do this. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Obviously, if you're a new CDL holder, you got to get your foot in the door. Everybody got to start somewhere. I see a lot of guys in the comment section that are struggling to find work, local
Hmm.
work,
Hmm.
and some people have no other option but to go OTR. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I see guys all the time saying, "Look, I got to go OTR, man. I can't find a local job, so I'm gonna do this for 6 months to a year, whatever, and then come back local." So some people are in that situation to where they don't have a choice. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Um, but you got to start somewhere. But
Hmm.
I think that's good, man. That's some good advice that you put out there, and hopefully people take heed to that, because
Hmm.
that OTR life is a whole nother beast, man. And
It
local
is.
is too. Local has its challenges. You mentioned a
Oh,
couple of them,
man.
having to do that backing in certain tight spots and things of that
Yes.
nature. Local driving has its own challenges, so I don't want to make it seem like local is just a cakewalk.
Hmm.
I
It's
mean,
not.
yeah, it's definitely not.
Oh.
And you see a lot of different things out there locally as well. A lot of different traffic situations and just different things, different challenges that you face out there as a local delivery driver, man. Like
Hmm.
it's not a cakewalk, especially in the food service space where you have to
Yeah.
deliver to some of these places. I mean, I've had to back up and customers like off a main highway before. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? With
Yeah.
traffic coming, like everything. So it's like it's just different things, man, that you see in the local space too. So, you
Hmm.
know, but at the end of the day, man, you guys got to make the best decision for
Hmm.
yourselves, man.
Yeah.
So fast forward, you
Hmm.
with JB Hunt now.
Yeah.
How's that going for you? And what exactly are you doing at JB Hunt? What's your job description?
So pretty much, I'm semi-local, but nowadays I've been here long enough to where I got seniority to just pretty much almost come home every day. But I'm on a big scale, pretty much food service. I have to pull an electric jack, I have to manually take the pallets off, which I like because I don't want to sit at somebody and just wait like 2 hours for them to get it off. So
Mhm.
I'm doing that, and then on top of that, I do truck to truck transfers. So truck to truck transfers is I'm on the Armor Eckridge account. So if you see the sausage, the all that, the hot dogs, meat, I have to pick up this meat, put it on like these rollers, and put it in, and they pick it up, put it inside their truck. So it is, I can do like 500 boxes at one stop. The next stop, I have to do 500. That's me lifting about 8,000 pounds overall. So it is a physically demanding job. It's not as hard as what's it called? Food service. I think food service is I really want to give a badge to anybody that's truly within the food service space, because I've done it. And for us to get the food that we get every single day, we have no idea how much we got to appreciate that. It is a different kind of beast. And to be honest, there was half and half reasons why I left food service. One, because it's hard. Two, because they didn't pay me my money. So it's two things. And so that's where I'm at right now with JB Hunt. I've been doing that consistently. It's hard for me because of how my brain works to consistently do something. But I had made a promise to my channel that I would stay at JB Hunt for a year. I'm still here. I guess I just was like, oh, well, I did it. All right, let's go 2 years. So yeah.
What type of experience do you need to get the position that you have? And also, you know, in general, what type of experience does JB Hunt require? 6 months, a year, what?
I think JB Hunt recently opened where you can, for certain accounts, you can be a new CDL holder. Don't hold me too well on that. But what I do know for 100% is for my account, you need to have at least 3 months experience, OTR. So you need that experience in order to get a semi-local position. I really do like this job that I have. It can be difficult. But the thing is that my boss is, and I know bosses are very different when it comes down to certain things, but my boss has been the ultimate understanding person that I've ever met as like a superior. And about 2 months ago, somebody had rear-ended me in a car accident, and pretty much my whole entire right side was affected to it because I was leaning over like this, and my car was totaled out. And unfortunately, about a week ago, somebody backed into my car while I was in my truck. So my new car, I was just like, what the heck? So I got to get that fixed. But my boss allowed me for a month to be off to get that. Now it's not paid. He would be amazing if he did that, but it was not paid. But he did not do that. Now, right now, I kind of have like some nasal kind of things and going on. So I took today off because I'm not feeling at the 100% I should be. But you know, I do appreciate him for that.
Nice. Sound like you got a pretty good manager, man, that work with you.
He does. He does. And that's rare.
Yeah, I was just about to say, you took the words out of my mouth. That is rare. So it sounds like, you know, you got a good manager. Sounds like it's going okay for you, with the exception of, you know, obviously you getting injured, having to recover right now. But it sounds like it's going okay for you.
Yeah.
I was looking at, I want to read something to you, and I want to get your thoughts on it. I was reading an article that came out about JB Hunt back in August of this year. And I want to read it to you because I just made a video about this about 2 weeks ago, talking about cameras. So I want to get your take on this right here. This article came out. It says JB Hunt rolls out driver facing cameras. It says all JB Hunt tractors will be equipped with driver facing cameras within the next 18 to 24 months in an effort to improve safety, a company executive said during its earnings call last week. And again, this was back in August. So you guys may or may not have them now, or at least they're coming, one of the two. What do you think about the driver facing cameras, man? What's your opinion on those?
All right, you unlocked a beast. I'm not playing, but I get my new truck next month.
Yeah,
and it got the camera, and I'm like, I had the camera with Schneider. I hate it. I hate it because it's the most distracting piece of crap. I'm sorry, piece of crap I've ever had. Because if you look off the road for like 5 seconds, distracted. If you literally bend over to get some food, distracted. If you do anything, distracted. So you're constantly getting distracted by the distracted thing that's distracting you. So
Yeah.
I'm like, why would they do this? It's number one, a lot of drivers don't like that.
Right.
It impedes on your privacy, and what they think it will do is they can monitor you, and you won't be able to do certain things. A lot of people came to JB Hunt because they believed that JB Hunt was going to give you the freedom to be the truck driver that you are, not micromanaging. See, this is the thing. You go into an office job, you sit down at a desk, your boss is your camera. So that's it. When I got to JB Hunt, I felt like, okay, they have confidence. I'm a driver. I'm a good driver. I do what I need to do, knock on wood. But, you know, when they said, hey, we're rolling out cameras, I'm like, you're ruining one of the things that make you a special place to come to. JB Hunt isn't one, like it's not the best company out there, but it definitely left an impression on me from the other companies I was with that, okay, you can be a truck driver. I got to sleep in my truck. They say that the camera turns off. I don't know that. I don't know that. So this is the thing. I hate it. It's a horrible decision. And let's just say that I might be making a decision. I'm glad I stuck it through for a year. I had that kind of resume to do that, but I'm pissed off.
Yeah, man. And a lot of guys have that same sentiment in this space when it comes to the driver facing cameras. It's a very hot topic, but it's an overwhelming no in the trucking community when it comes to the cameras, the inward or the driver facing cameras. And I want to read something else to you. This is why JB Hunt installed the cameras. According to the COO and president of Contract Services, he says installing inward facing cameras will help address the distracted driving and other coachable activities with our driving workforce. And I think that's always basically the comeback from the company's standpoint. The company's perspective is always it's because of safety, right?
Yes.
And we all know that, yeah, that's probably part of it. I'm sure it is. But you also have to consider the insurance premiums decrease, right? They're saving money on that end as well. So, you know, it's definitely more than just the safety aspect that they, you know, put out there. Although, like I said, I do think that, yeah, that's part of it, but you also have those other elements that I just mentioned too. That's a part of that, man. So I'm sorry, go ahead, man.
Oh no, just to go off of what you just said is that the real reason, like you said, is insurance. And unfortunately, right now, there has been so many accidents within JB Hunt due to it's actually more so like objects that are, you know, that they don't see. And I had a conversation with one of the people, the managers, and they were like, yeah, we don't have a whole lot of drivers that, you know, are like you. And I'm literally saying what they said. And I was just like, what do you mean? Like, doesn't everybody know what to do here, what to do there? They're like, no, they don't. They don't do these things. They don't get out of their truck and check it. They don't check their trailer to make sure that the lights work. They don't do these things. I'm not. And this is the thing. My boss is like, wow, you caught that the tire was off of the trailer. You caught that the lights don't work. And it's just like, yeah, this is my life. When I get on, my laptop's gonna die. I'm gonna run and get my charger real quick. Yeah, that is the biggest thing that I'm just like, that's the biggest problem. That is why insurance premiums are going up. So I'll be right back.
All right. All right, guys, appreciate it. We're gonna wait for Champion Trucker to come back with his charger to plug up his laptop or his computer. We got 19 people in the building right now. Drop your comments in the chat. Let me know where you guys are checking in from. And remember, man, definitely hit that like button as you come in. I would appreciate it. We got, let's see, we got Juan, we got Landon, appreciate it, Henry, and Kenneth. Kenneth, you already left Merchant, man. We gotta talk about that. We gotta talk about that.
What are we talking about?
And
What?
I'm wondering if you left because of the trainer. Because part of the reason I made that video about trainers 2 weeks ago was because of something you told me. So, dang, I'm sorry to hear that, man. Hopefully your next company, wherever you go, you know, you're in a better position.
I know how
Yeah,
it
man.
feels.
Yeah, he commented on the video, and he was telling me about his trainer, and that's one of the reasons why I made that video, because I've heard that, you know, before from other drivers that have those bad experiences with the trainer. And like I mentioned in the video, man, I just feel like the trainer basically sets the tone for the trainee, right?
It does. It does.
And so, you know, as a trainer, number one, you have to have patience, a lot of patience. You know what I mean? And you also have to understand, man, that you're dealing with somebody in most cases that have never done the job that you're training them to do. Some guys, yeah, they come over, they already have prior experience coming from somewhere else, depending on what type of job it is. But you really have to treat everybody as a new person, like they've never done it. You know what I mean? That should be the mindset when you're training somebody. And, you know, you have to be patient. You have to understand that people will make mistakes. Nobody's perfect. You got to understand that this person is not going to move at the same pace that you move, and all these different things, man. And a lot of trainers just don't have that, man. What you think, man?
I had one, my biggest I would say the trainer that I had in North Carolina, when it came down to Schneider, he was the best ever. Best. Very patient. He was very mild mannered. He was willing to, hey, you make a mistake, we're going to keep on correcting it. I got frustrated. He did not. He was cool. You know what? Because he knew he was training. He had a local gig. He wanted to go home, but he knew that if I want to put this man in a truck, I don't want him to crash into somebody else. See, that's what the trainers don't think about. They think, you know, you have teachers in the school district who just do it because they have to do it. But you have teachers that understand that if I teach this curriculum the correct way, this person can become a congressman, can be become the next doctor, or they can even become a music artist, or they can be whatever they want to do because you taught them right. And so I 100%, if that trainer isn't taking the correct time, they get frustrated. I watched a video on Facebook where there was a trainer and the dude wanted to fight the trainer. He started cursing at him and stuff like that. And that's not the right way to respond back at your trainer. It's just saying, you know what? I don't think this is going to work. I did it with Cisco. My trainer was very fast paced. This was my first food service job. I could not keep up with him. I was telling them, hey, you know, my body is sore. It's hurting. See, this is the thing. He had such a go mentality that he wanted to get home. He forgot the responsibilities of a trainer is, hey, I get home when I can get home. I got to teach this individual because I have them on my back. Either learn to space out your training to make sure that you have your life and then you train. And one thing I like is, dang, I forgot his name. But he's a Prime Inc. Blake, I think, or something like that. Prime Inc. YouTuber. He's been training.
Is it Rex? Oh no. I watched a guy named Rex Trucking, but he's not a trainer. He's a lease owner or operator with Prime.
No, yeah, I can't really remember his name. I know his name is Blake, or something like that. But he goes through a period of training, and then he's a lease.
He says Busy Blake.
Busy Blake. There you go. Yeah, Busy Blake. Thank you. I was right. Okay, but I forgot the first part. But he literally goes from training to then doing his own thing and then training. That is a perfectly balanced system. But if you train, you're gonna, that ninth person that comes onto your truck and you're just like, God, I haven't gotten home in months. It's like, you need it to balance. You need
Right.
it to balance. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I seen a female YouTuber. She was talking about her training experience, and
Hmm.
she was talking about her training, and it was crazy, man. A lot of the stuff that she was talking about,
I think I seen
how,
that.
and she's OTR, so they're basically in the truck together and doing all these sorts of things. And she was talking about how filthy this person was who she was with, and man, all kind of stuff. It was crazy. I can't even say some of the stuff that she said on the video, but it was a terrible experience to say the least. And
Yeah.
it's like, man, everybody shouldn't be training. I think a lot of trainers, particularly in the OTR space, usually when you train somebody, you get a little bit more pay, right?
Hmm.
They usually give you, some incentives to train an
Yeah.
individual. So a lot of trainers, they like, I train, they
Yeah.
thinking about that money, but a
Yeah.
lot of people, they just aren't good trainers, man.
Mhm.
You're probably a good driver, a good employee, but
Mhm.
you may not be a good trainer, right?
Yeah.
Those are two different things. And then in the food service space, I think a lot of guys that are in training,
Mhm.
oftentimes those guys really be glorified helpers, and
Mhm.
they're really not getting trained.
No.
The person that's supposed to be training them, they're really just using them for an extra set of hands, and they're not teaching them anything. And so I tell guys, it's one of the things that I say in the video, and I've talked about this in the past, is like, look,
Mhm.
if you get with somebody that's not teaching you, not showing you the job, you need to speak up
You
and
do.
ask the manager, the supervisor, whoever the person is in charge, to put you with somebody that's going to show you the job and not
Yes.
just have you there helping out, because eventually you're going to be on your own. You would
Yes.
hate what you don't want to do is be in training for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, however long you're in training, and really you didn't learn anything. And when you get out there on your own, it's like you clueless. You
You're
don't know
mad. Yeah.
anything
Yeah.
because nobody taught you this. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like, this
Yep.
person was just using you as an extra set of hands, as an extra dolly to run cases, but he wouldn't teach you anything. And I think a lot of guys end up in that situation. It's just unfortunate. So I tell anybody that's, if you're watching this right now and you're in training in food service, or you're considering to get into food service, or whatever other job that you plan on getting into in this trucking space, make sure you have a good trainer, man.
Mhm.
Don't just settle for somebody that's not teaching you the job.
Mhm.
That's with any lane of trucking that you plan on getting into. I don't care if you're hauling fuel, flatbed, driving, food service, whatever.
Mhm.
Make sure you get yourself a good trainer, or
Yeah.
get with a good trainer. If you
Yeah.
don't initially have one, make sure you get one,
Yeah.
because that experience in the training phase, I've seen people say, look, I quit because of the trainer.
Mhm.
In that video I posted, somebody had commented on an older video and was like, look, I turned down, well, this wasn't because of the trainer, excuse me, this was actually about the driving facing cameras. Somebody turned down, 90,000 a year salary
Woo.
because this company, they found out they had driver facing cameras. So a lot of people, that's another thing. And I don't want to get off topic about the
Yeah.
trainers, but I just thought about that, and I want to get your take on this too and get your
Mhm.
thoughts on it. But what do you think about people turning down 90,000, 100,000 a year salary
Mhm.
just because a company has driver facing cameras in there? What's
Um.
your thoughts on that, man?
Well, typically, let's be honest, the reason why drivers don't like a front-facing camera is because they're either on their phone or, and I'm
Doing
not.
something they're not supposed to be doing, what it comes down to
Yeah. So I
a lot
mean,
of
like,
times.
I'm not gonna lie. Like, there is times where you. I don't know. Maybe you can eat. I think you can eat with the camera, right, and drink and stuff like that. But there are like somebody I knew did not want to do the driver facing camera because they smoked and they didn't allow smoking in the truck.
Mm,
So that could be a problem for them. But ultimately, there is also a third thing, which is privacy. Some people
mhm,
genuinely do not want a camera in their truck due to privacy reasons. They're
Right.
like, I don't know what they're recording. I don't want my face to be sent over to a different database, and then they have all my face, my information, and stuff like that. You got to think about it. This is data that they're collecting off of you. So
Mhm.
it's one more thing. One of the things that makes me so upset about the industry is if you read the bill of lading and how much they're actually making off of you, and then how much you're really taking home. And my friend actually told me and I'll bring it all full circle. But my friend told me, like, if you stay in the truck and the company is not paying you for the time that you're staying in the truck, include that in the hours working, because you're not at home doing what you want. You might be
Mhm.
off duty, but you're still in the truck. So take all the hours that you did. Typically, if you're OTR and you don't get paid overnight, like Walmart does pay, they do pay.
Mhm.
So for me, I actually did the math and I'm only getting paid, sadly, $17 an hour, which is
Mm.
bad, which is really bad. So
Yeah.
that's why I'm like, I'm looking at, I don't mind local camera, front facing camera. I don't mind it.
Mhm.
OTR, I do mind it because I'm sleeping in there.
Mhm.
And
Eh,
if I can go ahead, go ahead.
I was gonna say, are those camera on 24/7,
They say
or do
that
they?
it's
Or
not.
okay, all right, yeah. Because I was wondering about that. I've heard conflicting statements when it came to that. Some people say they only come on if you do something wrong and it triggers the camera. So I was
Mm,
just kind of a little bit confused on that. I know my first trucking job prior to coming to food service was beer
mm,
delivery, and everybody, I'm sure if you've been following the channel for a while, you know that we had driver facing cameras in our trucks. So
mm,
I started my trucking career off with a company that had driver facing cameras. But the beer company, I'll be honest, man, they were like super lenient when it came to the driver facing cameras. I never heard a single driver talk about driver facing cameras in the beer uh business. And part of the reason probably is because they didn't want to make anybody upset. It's already a high turnover rate type of job. So that's one last thing that you really want to come at the driver with when they're already working their butts off out there, and you want to
mm.
come at them with, hey, I seen you do this, I seen you eat a chip, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
I think that's probably part of the reason that they really, they were a little bit lenient when it came to the driver facing cameras. So I think my manager said something to me one time because somebody said something to him. He was like, just kind of watch it. I think somebody caught me eating a chip or something like that.
What
And
in the world?
yeah, he was like, just kind of watch. I was like, oh, okay. I didn't even think they were on, because that was like I probably was like 2 months in, and that wasn't the first time I ate some chips. So I
Eating
didn't,
those chips for too long.
yeah, I didn't even know they were working. But yeah, I guess but nowadays, obviously it seems like it's a lot more strict with these companies now. I've
Yeah.
heard people get terminated for the smallest things, man, when
Yeah.
it comes to the cameras.
Yeah.
Same thing with the phone policy with some of these companies out here.
Mm,
I hear guys get terminated for the smallest things, and I'm like, wow, man, like I don't know if I could work for a company that the policy is so strict to where if you even somebody, and I don't know if these people exaggerating in the comments when they say some of the stuff that they say when it comes to people getting terminated for some of this small stuff, but I'm
mm,
always amazed when I hear some of these stories, like
mm.
people, oh, I just looked at my phone and I got terminated, or I don't know, it just amazes me, man. But this will always be a hot topic. The cameras, the phone policy, the training, all this type of stuff that's you know uh in trucking, some of the things that we got to deal with. These conversations will never go away.
Yeah.
But what do you think about the state of trucking in general, where we are now in the economy? Also, I want you to touch on, I know you're not an owner operator, but
Mm,
if you're an owner operator in trucking right now, we already know what a lot of those guys are feeling
yeah.
right now, and kind of some of the things that they're going through. But as a whole, what is your take? How do you feel about the trucking industry right now, man? Do you think it's still a good idea for people to come into trucking? Do you still think that, somebody can come in, have a decent career, or do you think somebody should just do something totally different? Because we get asked these questions all the time. Hey,
Yeah.
do you still think I should come into trucking? A young, and I'm gonna let you answer this after this right here, but
Hmm.
that was a young man asked me, I don't know, it's probably been about a week or two ago. He said he was having a conversation with his uncle, and he was asking me, he said they were talking about self-driving trucks, autonomous vehicles,
Hmm.
and he wanted to know if it was still a good idea to get into trucking because of the self-driving vehicles that's coming. And I told him absolutely. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
But that was just, I don't really see that being an impact on the trucking industry
Hmm.
in the short term. Maybe way, way, way off. Obviously, that is definitely going to have an impact on the trucking industry. How much? I think that remains to be seen. But they're coming. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think anybody that think otherwise is just being naive.
Yeah.
They're definitely coming. But what do you think, man, about the trucking industry, man?
I think first and foremost, if you look at the dollar sign and this is why you want to get into the industry, no, don't do it. Because instantly the dollar sign is going to wear off at a time. You're going to make more money, but then get in more debt typically. So the biggest thing that I say is, do you have a passion for driving? When you get in your personal vehicle, do you drive that 100+ miles a week? Do you do that? Typically, when I get off of work driving, I'm in my personal vehicle and I'm driving everywhere. I'm hardly ever at home, and that is something that I love to do is drive. If I want to think about something, I drive. If I'm thinking about new song lyrics, I drive. So typically, that's for me. For a new person in 2023 to come into the industry, I don't think it's like how I started off about two years ago. It was a different time for some reason. It was a great opportunity for everyone, but right now with owner operators and how the laws are changing for trucking, it just a hazmat getting your hazmat changed here the past year, I believe. So I think that when it comes down to trucking, you two things. You have to actually have a passion for what you're doing. And then number two is be prepared for anything, to be honest, because right now we are in a recession. So when it comes down to jobs, you have to find a job that is going to be hard and difficult to replace you in. OTR
Mhm.
is a field where you can be replaced.
Absolutely.
Intermodal is another sector where you can be replaced.
Right.
My position, it is a little bit difficult to be replaced because not everybody wants to do it.
Mhm.
If you're looking to bump docks, you got to watch out for your job. But if you
Mhm.
want to go to food service, there's a high turnover rate that if you stick around long enough, they're going to be like, this guy is not a liability, he's an asset. So
Right.
you have to have it comes down to the leverage. When it comes down to
Mhm.
owner operators, I see so many times on Facebook, and because I'm in a trucking group where they're posting the cents per mile or however much you're trying to make, and I'm not trying to bash owner operators, but I talk to them on a daily basis typically, and I ask them, "How did you do this? How did you do that? Oh, it's tough right now." I seen so many owner operators who have now went back to being a company driver because
Mhm.
it's just more lucrative. You got to look at it. If you're a company driver, start looking at how much gas you're actually, or excuse me, not gas, diesel that you're putting in there, the def. And if you got a reefer unit, how much you putting into that reefer unit? How many times you got to get that truck fixed? So overall, typically fuel for me is about man $1,000 a week. That's
Mhm.
$1,000 a week. So let's just say that you're taking home about, on average, what I've seen is about $6,000, right? And if you're making a lease purchase payment, it's probably around about $2,000, $1,000 to $2,000 for that lease payment. So you're already $3,000 going into fuel and your truck. So you got $3,000 to live on, right? What happens if your truck breaks down? You're going to be
Mhm.
out for weeks significantly. So
Yeah.
I don't think, like, unless you fully own that truck and you know that that truck is not going to fail you for a good year, you might
Mhm.
have to replace your tires about 2 to 3 times within the year, maybe even more. But ultimately, you have to get a truck that's going to last you. If you have your very first breakdown and you own that truck, you are stuck. It's going
Yeah.
to be a problem. It's going to be a problem. But
100%. 100%. You just touched on a lot, man, and I agree with all of what you said. Um, real quick, shout out to Southwest. Appreciate you for tapping in, bro.
shout
Ghost
out.
Town Bullies. Appreciate you for tapping in. Who else we got in here that I missed? One Little Diesel. Appreciate you, bro. And let me ask you a question real quick because you said something about GFS. This question right here. Does Gordon care about you vlogging while you drive, or they're pretty laid back? So Gordon is pretty laid back. Now, with that said, let me just say this. If you notice, when I'm driving and recording, I actually have my camera placed and attached behind me. So it's not like I'm holding the camera or the camera is, on my headset with the GoPro and things of that nature. Which, if it was, I do have a strap to put on my head. But when I'm driving, I actually don't even have it over my head. I just have it attached behind me. But I don't think any company would be okay with you, holding the camera or anything like that driving down the road. But yeah, GFS, they are fully aware that I create content. I've actually interviewed our regional manager, one of the regional managers at the time. Now she's one of our presidents over the company. So
Wow.
yeah, they're fully aware of me recording content. A lot of you guys that watch the channel have actually mentioned my channel during the interview process, and those messages have gotten back to me from HR. So I appreciate you guys. And I think that's, one of the reasons why they allow me to do what I do. Because, I'm not on here being unprofessional. I'm not on here using a lot of profanity. I keep it very professional on my channel because that's how I want to run my platform. And so I think all of that matters when you look at it. And so, yeah, I'm pretty good when it comes to recording content. We also have a couple other drivers out there that create content as well. So I'm not the only one, but I create more content than any other GFS driver out there. And yeah, they're okay with it. My managers are aware of me, my YouTube channel, and all of those sorts of things, man. So yeah, I'm cool on that. So I didn't want to make that question or that answer too long, but hopefully you got that. We got 22 people in here, man, right now.
Woo!
Appreciate you guys for checking in. Definitely hit that like button for me, man. I appreciate it. Look, one little Diesel said, most definitely, I like that angle for the camera too. Yeah, man. A lot of people say they like that angle, man. So I appreciate that. It definitely look good when I'm editing the videos. It look pretty good. So I don't plan on changing that up. But yeah, to your point, when you talked about the owner operators, you mentioned a lot of things, and
Mhm.
I think one of the main things, because I see a lot of guys getting into the industry, one
Mhm.
of their aspirations is to be an owner operator. And
Mhm.
look, I'm all for entrepreneurship, right?
Mhm.
I'm definitely pro entrepreneurship, all for it. I think it's great having ownership in anything. I think it's great.
Mhm.
But I feel like there's also like this wave of entrepreneurship. A lot of people want the title, but a lot of
Mhm.
people don't understand what goes on behind the scenes. And a lot of people don't do their due diligence and figure out the business aspect of
Yeah.
owning a business.
Yeah.
And they just think about the money, right? Like,
Mhm.
oh, you make all this money being an entrepreneur, and I don't want to work for nobody. A lot of people have that mindset. I don't want to
Mhm.
work for nobody. But there's pros and cons to both. There's pros and cons to being a W-2 employee. There's also pros and cons to being an owner operator, right?
Yeah.
So you just got to figure out, which one is a better fit for you.
Yeah.
But I think that you really have to take the time if you want to go that owner operator route. You really have to take the time to do your due diligence, do your
Mhm.
homework, figure
Mhm.
out everything that's involved in being the owner operator. Talk to some of these other owner operators that's out there that's doing
Mhm.
it, especially some of the ones that are thriving. And you also want to talk to some that may not have been successful. I think you can learn from both, right?
Yes.
You can learn from people's mistakes, and you can also learn from the people who are still thriving in that space. And
Yeah.
so again, I think it's awesome that people have that entrepreneurship mindset, but you don't want to set yourself up for failure. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
You got to understand that, look, things happen, breakdowns happen.
They
Like you
do.
said earlier, a few minutes ago, listen, if you have a major breakdown and you don't have any reserves in the bank, you pretty much done. You probably gonna be done. Yeah, like your whole business might be gone if you have the wrong thing mess up on you. You know what I mean? It could just wipe you on
Mhm.
out, and you'll be running back to be a company driver real quick.
Yeah.
And like you stated, I've seen a lot of OTR drivers out there creating content that
Yeah.
were owner operators that have now gone back to being a company driver, right?
Mhm.
Because
Mhm.
of the economy, everybody talking about the low freight rates. And look, if you have a lease on top of that, if you're a lease owner operator, come on, man, you can't survive. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And so it's just one of those things to really, think about before you really become an owner operator. And I'm not, again, I don't want
Yeah.
to discourage anybody from going that route because I,
Yeah.
I think that that's awesome if you want to do that. But just have a plan. You know what I
You.
mean?
Yeah.
That's my only take on it. Go ahead, bro.
I'm sorry, but yeah, you said something, and this is the craziest thing that you have to. I would be very concerned about when it comes down to the industry of going the owner operator route. It is about the people you know. And any business, if you want to succeed, the ones that are succeeding within owner operator, they have a dedicated route. They have a dedicated person who knows who they are and they are in with them. Those are the people that succeed. If you go on low boards and stuff like that and you're gambling, it could be successful. I'm not saying I don't like the all kind of things and like all.
Right.
It could be successful, but the thing is if you make relationships and those
Mm,
relationships step out to last, go
mm,
ahead while you're a company driver. Start talking to people. Start talking to companies. Like I go to Smithfield every single day, Monday through Friday. Why don't I just go inside and say, hey, what if I wanted to, kind of what get my own truck, have a dedicated, I'll buy my own trailer and I'm dedicated to you guys. What would I need to do in order to do that? And this is the biggest part that a lot of truck drivers miss is customer service. We
mm.
forget about communication. Without communication, you cannot make connections.
Right.
So this is a thing. If I and I had a yard dog disrespect me on Smithfield, I didn't have to do a dang gonna thing. I told one person, everybody there knows who I am. They were like,
Mhm.
hey, no, we told him don't mess with Xavier. Don't mess with him like that. Don't do that. They were like, we have your back. I was like, what the whoa? Like, they don't worry about it. I never seen this side before, but it's all about how I came in with a positive attitude. The days that I came in, which were rare with a bad attitude, they were like, are you okay? You okay? You're not usually like this. I'm like, yeah, I'm just, something bad happened. Something really
Mhm.
bad happened. They'll be like, oh, okay, okay. Hey, well, if you need to talk or something like that, I ask questions. How's your kids doing?
Yeah.
Communication is key in order to build connection that will lead to success. That's it.
100%. And somebody just commented, Southwest just commented right what I was just getting ready to say real quick. Um, building relationships, and you just said it, and you as soon as you said it, it kind of clicked in my mind.
Yeah.
Man, building relationships with these shippers, with these brokers, all those
Yes.
sorts of things, bro, it's so important. I have a
Mm-hmm.
cousin that is an owner operator,
Mm-hmm.
and he has about 3 trucks.
Mm.
And one of the things he told me is that, bro, he built relationships. He really don't even have to go on the load board no more because now the shippers they call him like, "Hey, I got a load. I want you to do this," and
Yeah.
that's so important in that
Yes.
space. If you can build those relationships, man, you can really go far. And
Mm-hmm.
as an owner operator, and that's so important, man.
Yeah.
You touched on that. All
Thank you.
right, let me shout out a couple of you guys real quick that just came on. Berto, what's up, man? Appreciate you, Spencer. Appreciate you for tapping in. And Southwest, I'm just to read your comment real quick. Relationships in trucking or any business, for that matter, if you want to be successful in anything.
That's facts.
100%, bro. Any business matter if you want to be successful in anything. 100%. I agree with that. All right, bro. So we talked a little bit about trucking. Now we want to kind of transition into, why you here, bro.
Okay.
Because I want people to know how talented you are. We're gonna talk about some of your many talents here. All
I
right.
appreciate it.
So, bro, you just dropped a new project. You reached out to me and was like, bro, do you mind, making a dedicated video about, this project that I'm dropping? And like I talked to you offline before we went live. I'm like, bro, I think it's, it just made more sense to, we might as well go live and talk about it. And then, everybody be able to watch it on a replay. But you just dropped a new project, bro. You're a musician, you're an artist as well. And I'm sure a lot of people didn't know that. I think I've heard you talk about this before in the past. And me and you, obviously, we talk offline. We've talked to each other on the phone numerous times. We've texted each other. So, we have a good relationship as far as I'm concerned. You know what I mean? And today, man, you're gonna talk about something that a lot of people don't know, and that's this music.
Yes.
And so talk about it, man. What you got going on right now, what you currently doing musically. Fill us in, man.
I kind of like to tell my story. Some of you guys can connect to it. But pretty much when I was 22 years old, or actually, let me back up even further from that. My mom would always tell me about a story about how my heart stopped when I was born. My mom had chicken pox, a fever of 104, I think, around that time. And so my heart stopped, and pretty much the doctor kept going. Fast forward to when I was 22 years old, I got a call while I was working. I was a manager for AT&T. I had my own car. I had my own little safe in the back with all the phones that you could get. And pretty much, I got a call that my son's heart stopped 2 days away from when he was supposed to be born. And pretty much that shattered my world. I've been doing music ever since college, but my music was very... you didn't really have a story to it. It was very corny. But during that time, we tried again. We had my daughter who has a blood disease, a rare blood disease. And that's when I became a truck driver. Went out onto the road trying to provide for my family. And pretty much I came back home to find out that my ex-wife was doing stuff that I was unaware of. And that sent me into a spiral that I just had to come out of somehow. I never went out to clubs. I never went out drinking, but that was the first time where I started drinking heavily. And then on top of that, I was pretty much just losing myself at that time. Went out to clubs so many times, went Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, any day that I could go out, I would go out in order to heal the pain, and it never went away until I realized that you can't go out searching for something else, and that you had to face the man in the mirror. I started creating music. I kept it to myself. I had gotten into a relationship, and I would show it to my girlfriend at the time, and at that time. And pretty much she would say, "Oh, this is great. You should put it out." I was like, "You're just trying to make it seem like it's better than what it is." And I didn't believe in myself. I showed it to my brother. He said the same thing. He was like, "Bro, you finally figured out what's your singing style and everything like that." And I was like, okay, I'm getting positive feedback, but I still quite wasn't in it. And then my daughter started singing the song. And that's when, my heart warmed up. And I said that if it can impact my daughter, then what else can it do for other people? My music isn't some kind of song where it talks about drugs and talks about gang banging or anything like that. I had a lot of friends around me like that. I know the way I talk, it might not seem like that. I might have seemed like I grew up from like the suburbs or in a nice neighborhood. No, I was probably like 2 streets away from the ghetto. So my friends, you know, there were shootings, there was all this going down the streets when I was growing up. So that's I just had a different kind of world from my friends' world. And I
Mhm.
didn't want to intermingle with that at the time. We would be friends. They would think I was weird. They were like, "Why don't you do this?" I couldn't watch. I couldn't watch what everybody else was watching. I didn't have cable until I was like 16 years old because my parents were so heavily Christian based. So music was a way to express my pretty much my anger, the way I felt. And the new song, which is just came out today, "On Your Roof" by Hotcher, which is my artist name. The song talks about like an alien boy or man who is looking for a love. And I know this is a little sentimental, but I know there's individuals out here that have been in a position where you put your all into a relationship and then all you got back was nothing. You know, they didn't care about you, they dropped you like a dime, and that's it. And this song is just me feeling lost within those 6 months at that time, not being able to connect with somebody. I went through a 5-year relationship where my son passed away, my daughter has a blood disease, and my ex-wife cheated on me. And I'm thinking that I grew up with two parents in my household. That's all I ever known. So that is what I wanted to replicate. And that was torn away from me. And
Mhm.
"On Your Roof" is an upbeat, very, very melodic song, but undertoning it is a very deep meaning to me where I'm feeling lost. I'm an alien boy that doesn't feel like I belong on this world, that I'm ever going to with somebody. And finally, he meets the individual that he believes is going to fit into his life. So I'm proud to be releasing it. I thank you,
Mhm.
Anthony, for letting me kind of go throughout all of that. But
Yeah.
that is my story.
Yeah, man. I appreciate you for sharing that, man. And I think it takes a lot of vulnerability to get that transparent with everybody.
Yeah,
But they say most people, or at least artists, when I hear them talk and they make all these great songs, a lot of them go through something. They go through some pain,
yeah,
and it seems like they make their greatest music when they go through those things. And
yeah,
so, man, I definitely wish you all the best with this project and all the projects in the
mm,
future. You know what I
mm,
mean? Definitely wish you a lot of success
mm.
in your music space, because I
Thank
feel
you.
like that's probably your passion
Yeah,
and what you really want to do in life. So definitely keep grinding and keep going after it, bro.
I will.
You could do anything you put your mind to, and you
Thank you.
definitely got some talent. I hear it. So
Thank you.
keep going on that. And I'm definitely gonna put the link in the description on this
Thank you.
video so people can tap in. You're on Spotify, I know for
Mhm.
sure. Are you on any other streaming platforms right
Pretty
now?
much all of them. Tidal, Pandora, Apple Music. I'm on all of
Okay.
them. The one that really helps me and gets a song to more people. I've been doing the footwork. You know, I've been going out, marketing myself, creating music videos, and everything like that. The only thing that really helps me is just listening to the song in full, saving it. And if you even want to do something even further, create a playlist. It could be with one song on Spotify. It helps
Mhm.
me greatly.
Mhm.
And I'm never going to forget my day ones on my Instagram. People are commenting. I listened to the song in full. I did this. I did that. I will not forget you because I'm screenshotting them. So yeah,
Yeah. Well, I definitely saved it on Spotify.
thank you.
Um, Definitely a good song, man. And hopefully everybody that's watching this video right now, and for the people that are gonna watch it later on the replay, hopefully you
Mhm.
guys can tap into it, check it out. Like he just gave you those instructions. Definitely save it. You can create a playlist or whatever. Just listen to it. If you don't like it, that's fine too.
Oh yeah,
But
yeah.
check it out. Everybody don't like the same things, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Oh yeah.
Um, but yeah, man, appreciate you for coming on, bro. Like I said,
Appreciate
you already know if you need anything like this or anything, man, you can always holler at me. I'm only one call away.
it.
You got my contact, man. So
Yeah.
I appreciate you, bro. Anything else you want to share with the
No,
group, man?
All I gotta say is this man is amazing. You have no idea. He's in food service and he provides content, free content for you. Do you have a Patreon?
No, I don't.
You need
I need to get on
you
it,
need to
man.
get a Patreon because I'll be the very first one to be on there because you deserve that. You get free information all in one video,
Yeah.
and I don't think people understand how much work you not only have to go to work, you
Mhm.
film, you edit, and you get it done in such an amazing amount of time that only those that have actually done it can fully understand it. Me, I sit down and I kind of just talk. I don't have to do a whole lot of editing. But for you, you show the process. And
Yeah.
there was none when you first got into the game. I don't think there was a whole lot of people doing that. I don't think so.
Mhm.
Like I didn't get to
Mhm.
see the step by step by step and on a consistent basis. So
Right.
this man stay subscribed, like the video. That's all you got to do. And no, I appreciate you. You have no idea. I'm looking up to you.
I appreciate you, brother, man. The feeling is mutual, man. Out here trucking. I appreciate that super chat, brother. Salute to you as well.
Woo,
Appreciate
man.
that. Man,
Thank
to everybody watching, we got 16 in here now. Appreciate all you guys for tapping in, man. Once again, my guy's song dropped today. It's called On Your Roof. It's on Spotify and all other streaming platforms, man. Definitely check them out. I appreciate you guys for your support, supporting the channel. If you guys got anything that you want to see, definitely drop it in the comments, man. You guys can drop it in the comments on any video. I read every single comment. I may not reply or respond to all the comments. I kind of, cherry pick because some comments, response is a response. You guys know
you.
if you in the content creator space, sometimes you just get those comments and
Yeah,
you just
yeah.
like, okay.
Okay.
But yeah, if it makes sense, man, I definitely respond. And
Yeah.
if it's to help somebody or anything like that, man, I'm definitely here for that. So yeah, appreciate all you guys for tapping in today, man. This was kind of, a random
Mhm.
thing that we kind of, talked about really yesterday, really. And came together today and connected, and here we are. So I appreciate you guys. Hopefully you get some value from this content and any other piece of content that I put out there. uh my guy, he also has a channel as well,
Mhm.
Champion Trucker.
Mhm.
Definitely check out Champ. He has a YouTube channel. He also has a podcast. I know he hasn't been on it in a while, but he has a podcast as well.
Mhm.
And by the way, man, when you started that podcast, bro, I was locked in. You know what I'm saying? It was so dope. I know you kind of had some other things going, so you kind of
Yeah.
fell back from it a little bit. But
Yeah.
I even like the name of it, Steering Mike, man. Like I
Yeah.
even like the name of it, bro. So I've been thinking about starting a podcast. I was just talking to my brother about that today. I just don't know what I'd be talking about. So
Shoot,
I may,
anything.
yeah, that's I definitely if I do start one, I don't really want to talk about trucking. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying? I
yeah,
want to talk about some of the other things that I enjoy doing.
yeah.
Because life is definitely much more than trucking. So I definitely I definitely am intentional about spending quality time with the people that are important in my life,
Yeah,
especially like my wife.
yeah.
I got two stepdaughters, my daughter. So doing some of those things is definitely something that I try to give my attention to as
Yeah.
much as I can, man. Because listen, it's not all about trucking. It's not all about making all this type of money in the world. You know what I mean? Money comes and go, but time is something that we all have in common, and it keeps going with or without us here. That's the only thing that we cannot get back in
Mhm.
this world is time. So
Mhm.
time is more valuable than money, in my personal opinion. So listen, if you at a job and you working your butt off 70, 80 hours, whatever you working, if
Yeah.
you really working yourself down to the bone, man, and you don't have a good quality of life, you
Mhm.
may need to reevaluate your situation. You know what I'm
You do.
saying? A lot of people really get into a bad mental space. Is I don't think it's healthy, and it can really be a detriment to your
To your health.
overall well-being. if you're in that type of situation, man. So, but shout out to each and every one of you guys out there, man. I hope you guys be safe out there. And once again, I appreciate you guys for tapping in. We're going to get ready to sign out of here, man. Champ, I appreciate you, bro. Be safe out there, man.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, to the rest of you guys, I'll holler at y'all on the next one. Y'all take care. I'm out. Peace.